Today I want to introduce you to different trees that would be really fun in your landscape. Now I'd like to introduce you to Hinoki cypress, which is Chamaecyparis obtusa. And this makes a really lovely tree in your garden. And people don't necessarily know how easy it is to grow. And what's nice is that it'll take some sun, it'll take some shade. Now if you're out on the other side of the tunnel, it's going to need to be out of the sun or it could burn. You can see it has really beautiful, graceful habit, and it's evergreen, it's a conifer. Now one thing not to be surprised by is that it will lose its inner foliage inside, anything that gets shaded out. So when you prune it, you want to prune it with layers so that the sun keeps coming in and getting to different branches. And then after you prune it, one way to help stimulate to keep inner growth is to just pinch off the ends. There's little nodes, and you can just pinch them right off, and then it leaves a really natural feeling at the outside edge, as opposed to cutting, which is going to make it have a little harder edge. The best time to buy these is in the fall, because at the nurseries they bring them in ball and burlap from Oregon, and so you're going to get a lot prettier specimen, and they're going to cost a lot less money than if you buy them as a container. This is the exact same plant as the one we just looked at, except it's smaller stature. This has just about probably reached its mature height. And this one has been pruned to a little bit more semi-styled form. And you can see the new growth is a little bit brighter green. Now one thing to be careful about is if you go to the nursery to get a Hinoki cypress is to look at what the cultivar name is, and look that up, because that will tell you how large it's going to get. So you could end up thinking you're getting a plant that's going to be 5 or 6 feet tall, and you didn't look carefully at the cultivar, and in fact you got one that's only going to be about 6 or 8 inches. The growth rate on these trees is somewhat slow, though if you give them a really good layer of compost and pretty good soil conditions and garden conditions, they'll grow at a medium rate, but they're not a fast-growing tree. It's not going to be a tree that you're going to turn around and it's out of control. I want to talk about our manzanitas because they're so indicative of California, and we have so many to choose from, and they're getting to be a lot more in the trade, and you can get them anywhere from being ground covers to tree form. This is sort of a mid-size here, and it has that really beautiful mahogany red smooth bark. But another wonderful part about them is that they bloom in the winter. The other thing is that oftentimes people need a good structural plan in your garden, and you can do other things that are good for backdrop and just sort of, you know, fill in some space with some color if you want to do that. But the manzanitas are very architectural and structural and just a delight in the garden. All of the trees that we've looked at will long outlive all of us, and that's really what we want, is for the trees to live on for future generations.